Your good friend Monroe, Mann, back on YouTube live streaming. The title of this live stream is There's No Such Thing as an American. And what do I mean by that? I was at the Apple store last week, 2 weeks ago. I was going for a second Apple Vision Pro demo. And there was a woman there who worked for Apple. And she clearly looked Asian. She was Asian. And her last name was something like Hiroshika or, Kawasaki. Something that was very Japanese. I lived in China for many years. I visited Japan. I've been to South Korea. I've been Mongolia. I've been all around Asia. I speak Chinese. I know a little bit of Japanese. I'm very comfortable in the Asian culture. And I asked this woman, who clearly looks Japanese, or at least Asian, but her last name was 100% Japanese. And I just said, "Hey, what's your heritage?" And she just ignored me. And I said, "Excuse me, I'm just curious what your ethnic heritage is." And she was talking with me because she was giving me the Apple demo. She was prepping me for it. I said, "I just see your last name it looks Japanese, and I'm just curious if you have a Japanese ethnicity." And she just turned to me and went, "I'm American," and then stopped talking to me. And I ended up complaining to the manager, and the manager completely apologized because her behavior was intolerable and inappropriate. And I get pissed off when any of these ethnic people who say, "I'm American." Well, guess what? So am I, but I'm not from America. I don't get pissed off when people say, "Hey, what's your ethnicity?" Guess what? I'm Russian, Austrian, Polish, Norwegian. There is no such thing as an American. When I'm talking about like a Native American species, even the quote unquote Native Americans, they were not here originally either. If you look back along the whole ways, they came over across this land bridge, the Bering Strait land bridge. They either came from Africa or they came from China or something, but there are no Native Americans. So I'm so angry when I ask a genuinely culturally curious question to people who are different. And it could be, I ask the same question to people that look like me, white people. And I go, "Hey, what's your ethnic heritage?" What's very strange is white people don't get pissed off at me when I ask that. But Asians do, sometimes blacks do, Hispanics do. And I just think, get over yourself. Stop with this, "I'm an American." American is not an ethnicity. I am an American because that's where I'm born. What's up, Tim Boddington and Casey Shelley? Great to see you guys. Wow, 21 people here. That is the most people I've ever had in a live stream. Tell me, iTroll, what it's the opposite for me. Now, I love all cultures. I've got Chinese on my arm. 我会说中文. I love Chinese. I love Asians. I want to know when I see an Asian, what is their ethnic heritage, because it's so cool. It's absolutely amazing. Of course I sound like an American because I'm an American. It's my nationality, but it's not my ethnicity. There is no ethnic American. You come to America, every single person in the world could be an American based on their ethnicity. When I lived in Shanghai, China, everybody knew I was not Chinese. It was very clear, and I was like a rock star over there, and people are coming up to me constantly. I'm going to read all of these comments in a second. People are coming up to me constantly, taking pictures with me because I was clearly not Chinese. Not only was I not Chinese ethnically, but I was not Chinese with my nationality. China's a very unique place. It's very difficult to become a Chinese citizen if you look like me. I could become Chinese. If I married a Chinese woman and went through the process, I could become a Chinese citizen. But I'm not Chinese. So let me read some of these comments because there's so much stuff going on here, guys. I sound like an American. iTroll says, I got you. I bought my clan. Sharon is laughing. iTroll is laughing. Aria saying, hello, brother. SS says, try to do some Hindi tattoos. Hindi tattoos are just as difficult. I went to China specifically to get my Chinese tattoo because I would not trust the Americans. I wouldn't even trust an ABC, an American-born Chinese. I also wouldn't trust a Chinese person who transplanted here. I wanted to get an actual Chinese tattoo in a Chinese tattoo parlor because then I would know it was correct. I'm from Lakshadweep, India. Welcome, BSM. Ross McConaughey, what's your ethnic heritage? Russian, Austrian, Polish, Norwegian, and Lithuanian. John Liam, hi bro, I was always a fan of yours, man. You're an inspiration since way back when you were going through your K2 addiction, doing backflips for $1 on the turf. K2 addiction? I don't know, are you confusing me with someone else? I'm not sure what I was addicted to and what do you mean by K2? All of them know what it's like to know the Holy Dupers. I'm an ethnic Apicola. I'm from India. Thanks for watching the video. The Cherokee. If you're born in America, your ethnicity is American. No, that is not truth. There is no ethnicity American. My ethnicity is Lithuanian, Russian, Austrian, Polish, and Norwegian. My nationality is American. Any one of you, what's up, hey Matt? Yeah, your wife is from Taiwan. So if she comes to America, she's Taiwanese. If she gets her passport here, now she is an American. Her ethnic heritage does not magically change. She is still an Asian woman from Taiwan. No matter what, I'm still a white male from Russia, Austria, Norwegian, Poland, and Lithuania. Hello, bro. Pankaj. This is like 1 + 1. Come on now, Smith Nace. I'm an Angle. Why would you? God, there's so many quotes here. Because you went to China, did you learn any Dragonese? I did not learn any Dragonese. Ladybug McGregor. True, how many people know that? I just know my Afro-Latino heritage. And yeah, and this is the Ladybug McGregor. Your Afro-Latina heritage is that's your ethnicity, where you came from biologically, genetically. You may be an American, but that's your nationality. And so my point in this is like, I'm hoping people watch this. Don't get pissed off when people ask, hey, where's your family from? And they go, I'm American. Don't say that. You can say that and say, I'm from New York. That's where I was born, but my family's from Lithuania, Austria, Russia, etc., Eastern European. Please don't get upset when people are curious about the fact that you're different or that they want to know, where did you come from? There is no American who is an American. I'm an American by birth, and I'm American because that's what's on my passport. But I am a Russian, Austrian, Lithuanian, Polish, Norwegian. That's what you're looking at right now. You're not seeing an American. An American ethnicity does not exist. So this woman at the Apple store, she got so upset with me, the staff member, when I just asked her. She clearly looked Asian, and she had a Japanese last name. I said, I think you may be Japanese with your heritage. Is that correct? And she got pissed. I'm an American. So am I. That's not where I come from. Let me see. Dragonese nuts on your chin. Thank you for that, Ross, whatever that means. Hello, brother. I'm from India. My son makes football videos. That's awesome. Yeah, so Califlow, you're talking about natives. There are no Native Americans. All of the native Indian tribes, the Cherokee, the Tappan Indians, the Seminoles, they came over from a land bridge on the Bering Strait, either from China or from Africa. None of them are Native Americans. They don't exist. And I find it funny that they call them Native Americans because they're not. And this is actually why I think a lot of Native Americans prefer to be called Indians. That's why, even though it's geographically not correct, they are not from India. A lot of people say, like, why are you, like, same thing with Latino, Latina, and now there's this Latinx. A majority of Hispanics don't want to be called Latinx. They prefer Latino or Latina. What do you think about Pride Month? That's another thing. I don't think you should be proud about who you have sex with. I don't think your sexuality should be something you celebrate. I saw some places, there are some bars that are celebrating heterosexuality awesomeness month. And I think that's fine. And now people are saying that they're being you're so hateful. Why are you doing that? Excuse me, they're not saying anything against LGBTQ. They're saying that heterosexual is great too. But honestly, I don't care. If I'm gay or I'm a hetero, none of you should know about that, and I shouldn't be celebrating it. Pride is, and one thing I've always said about the pride thing, that's great. They should not be ashamed if that's their thing. You shouldn't be ashamed of your sexuality, but you shouldn't be proud of it. I'm not gay. I'm proud to be a heterosexual. But I'm not proud. That's the thing. I don't care. It's just who I am. And so I don't like that the whole month is overtaken by somebody's sexuality. We shouldn't be having a whole month of sex. It's kind of disgusting, honestly. And the thing about the gay movement that I'm really upset about is that they stole the rainbow. The rainbow is a wonderful, multicolor, beautiful thing. But if I get an umbrella that has I'm in Miami Beach, if I walk down the street with a rainbow umbrella, people are going to automatically assume that I'm gay or that I'm making a political statement. And so I don't understand how that happened. I don't think a political movement should take over a bunch of colors. Let me read all these comments. Crazy stuff. I'm not American, so the woman at the Apple store. What you think about Pride Month? It's a delusion. Can you say happy birthday? What's up? Happy birthday to Mike Oxlong. I wish you a happy birthday. Their bodies changed once they came over the land bridge. Possibly, who knows? Who was here first? I was here first because I started this live stream, and then you guys came and joined me. Did you vote Trump by chance? I did, and I'm voting for Trump again because he is, in my opinion, the only way we're going to save the country. The Democrats are the true threat to democracy now. The Democrats today are not the Democrats from 40, 50 years ago. It's really frightening what's going on. And I do hope that Donald Trump wins because I think the world was a lot safer. One thing I always say about Donald Trump, think about when Obama was president. Guess who invaded Crimea? Putin. When Trump was president, no one invaded anywhere and ISIS was destroyed. And the war in Iraq and Afghanistan were withdrawn dramatically. Biden is in office. China's thinking of invading Taiwan. Russia invades Ukraine. Hamas attacks Israel. And you guys on the left think that Biden is the better person? The world was safer when Donald Trump was president. I don't look at these personalities. I don't care about Donald Trump's sex life, just I don't care about Pride Month because I don't care about somebody's sexuality. If you're gay, great. I'm happy to be your friend. I don't care who you're sleeping with. Have fun. And the same thing with presidents. All I care about is who is making me feel safer and who is doing a better job for America, number one, because that's the job of the American president to, make America first, and then help the world. All these people that talk about how America first is so horrible, when you're on an airplane, what do they tell you to do if you're a parent and the oxygen mask comes down? Are you going to first take care of your children and put the oxygen mask on your kids? No, because you're going to pass out before you put the oxygen mask on your final child. What you want to do is take the mask, put it on your face first. Then, when you're safe, go and help your children. In this analogy, America is the parent and the children is the rest of the world. You got to look after yourself first. And I think if you're French, it should be France first. If you're Indian, India first. If you're Chinese, China first. I think that's completely normal. And I don't think patriotism is a bad thing. I was the second viewer. What's up, iTroll? Thanks for the two of you who clicked like. Would love you to subscribe, all of you guys. I do live streams on a lot of different topics. I try not to be too partisanly political. I will answer if people ask me my opinions, I'll tell you. But I really, frankly, like everybody. I think everyone is a valuable person in this world, and everyone's perspective is valuable. The truth is, Biden, as much as I don't like his politics, he's a valuable person in this world. And his son, Hunter Biden, who's going through a lot of difficulty now with his trial and the drug trial and the gun trial, he has redeeming qualities too. Everybody, I was talking about this in the live stream earlier today. There's a pro and con to absolutely everything. There's a pro to America's freedom, and there's a con to that. And there's a pro to China's authoritarianism, and there's a con to that. And either extreme can cause chaos. America to the extreme is anarchy, because you keep going farther to the more and more freedom, you eventually have no government at all, and it's anarchy. If you go take China's model and you go farther and farther that direction, it becomes an absolute dictatorship where the people are oppressed and everything is miserable. But both anarchy and complete dictatorship are horrible. So I always urge you guys to try to always look at the other person's perspective and try to figure it out, because nobody thinks he or she is wrong. Everybody thinks that they're doing something right. I don't love Hitler. Today is the anniversary of the D-Day invasion in Normandy. I gave a live stream on that this morning. June 6th, 1944, I think. And people kind of look at me funny when I say that Hitler has redeeming qualities. He does. He was a horrible man. Let's put that out front. But he was a great leader. He was able to inspire people to follow him. He was a master of military technique and strategy. It doesn't mean he used all that talent for good, but you can learn lessons from even someone as horrible as Adolf Hitler. Let's look. Sukindi. This guy's going to get canceled so fast. What's up, Nikor? Palestine or Israel? Well, my dad was Jewish, so I'm tending to side to Israel. I'm Christian. I was a really big supporter of the Free Palestine movement until Hamas attacked innocent people and the fact that they still have hostages. I don't see why that they can't live in harmony. I think they can. But Israel is not randomly attacking the people in Palestine. It's Hamas constantly attacking the people of Israel. Israel is always retaliating in terms of self-defense. And if you look at actually history in Israel tried to give the Palestinians the West Bank and Gaza, and they've been trying to let them live there like that, and they want more. Hamas wants to destroy Israel and all Jews. And if I have some Jewishness in me because my dad was Jewish, that means Hamas wants to kill me too. So I don't like Hamas. And we were speaking about the LGBTQ community. I find it so funny that some of those LGBTQ people are supporting Hamas and Free Palestine. People in Hamas do not like gay people. If you are gay, you do not want to be in Palestine. You are better living in Israel. In fact, people don't realize this. Israel has tons of Muslims that live there, tons of Christians, tons of Israelis, Jewish people. It is more of a melting pot. Palestine is just Palestinians, Muslims. Israel is sort of like the United States in that you have every culture, every religion. You can hate the United States, you can hate Israel, but when you go there, you realize you are accepted no matter who you are. If you go to Palestine, if you're gay, you are not going to be as accepted as you will in Israel. People don't realize that. So I hope that there is freedom in Palestine, and I hope there's freedom in Israel, and I hope it's safe for everyone there. Palestinians, Christians, Muslims, all. I was in Iraq with the U.S. Army. All of my Iraqi buddies, the Iraqi army soldiers, all Muslim. Great guys. It's all good. People just need to get along and stop trying to eradicate one another. Jews can live there. Muslims can live there. And me as a Christian, I should be able to live there and go back and forth between Palestine and Jerusalem and not feel like I'm in a threat to my life. God's promise. Let's see. To be honest, if you're saying this, then does that mean Japanese people aren't Japanese? Because you can be from Japan, but a different race too. Yeah, you are absolutely right, Ladybug McGregor. Japan is starting to have, this was actually an issue with like the Miss America contest or something. There was something called like Miss Japan. There was a big, and look this up, this was about a year ago, maybe 6 months. And the person who won was only half Japanese. I think she was half black, half Japanese. And again, black African, because that's her ethnicity, and Asian Japanese, her ethnicity. Not talking about her nationality. Her nationality is what? 100% Japanese. And this is the same issue that we have with Israel and Jewish. People say, oh, are you Jewish? Look, or I hate the Jews. It's not a nationality, it's a religion. You can't be Jewish. It so happens, if you look at Jewish people, quote unquote, some of them have very particular features. There's a Jewish nose. Adrian Brody was criticized recently for a movie that he did because he modified his nose to make it look, quote unquote, more Jewish. But just because some people have facial characteristics that are also similar to the religion that they also ascribe to, that doesn't mean being Jewish is anything other than a religion. If you say the Jews run New York, well, that's saying that a religion, bunch of religious people run New York. But no, it's not. Be very careful about that. And I'm going with what Ladybug McGregor said. There are Japanese people who look like me, 100%, but they're not Japanese ethnically. They're Japanese through their passport and nationality. We have the same issue in Hawaii. There are the native, quote unquote, Hawaiians, and then there are the Hawaiians, the Americans who live there or who were born there, but they're white or they're black or they're Hispanic or they're Japanese. A lot of Japanese came to Hawaii after World War II. They are Hawaiian, but only based on their driver's license and their domicile. But their ethnicity has nothing to do with it. There's a word in Hawaii called haole. And a haole is the word generally used for people who are not ethnically Hawaiian, but they are there. In China, we're called Waiguoren. Waiguo, Y means like outside, Guo means country, Ren means person. So it means outside China person, Waiguoren. So that's what I am in China. I'm a Waiguoren. I'm a foreign person, a not Chinese person. But it's not my ethnicity. When they call me a Waiguoren, they're calling that because I'm American. A French person's also a Waiguoren. An American-born Chinese. They have the most difficult time in China because they go to China, they look Chinese. Most of them don't speak Chinese. People start speaking to them in Chinese, and they try to explain, I don't speak Chinese. And they're like, what do you mean you don't speak Chinese? You're Chinese. You're Chinese. But they're not. And we're going back to the thing about the Apple Store thing. This woman at the Apple Store got so offended when I said, your last name looks Japanese. Are you ethnically Japanese? And she got upset and said, I'm American. You're not. You're not. People do not get upset like this in Japan, in China. Like when an American-born Chinese who looks Asian, looks Chinese, goes to China, and they get mistaken for an actual Chinese native. They don't get upset and go, why are you insulting me? I'm not American. What, just because I look Chinese, you think that I am Chinese? No. So I don't know what it is. This has only happened to me in the United States. And maybe it would happen also in some of these Western European countries. I don't know if it's the same. But guys, I don't care what you look like. You are not from America. You are not American. That is not your ethnicity. I am not American. I was born here. That's it. But I'm Russian, Lithuanian, Norwegian, Polish, etc. Same thing for all of you. To be honest, if you're saying that, that was ladybugs. They stole the rainbow. Yeah, they stole the rainbow. Bro, stop. What's up? Remember me? What's up, Gorilla Tag Boy? I remember you. What do I think about abortion rights? Oh boy, you guys are giving me the tough questions here. I'm generally pro-life. I think in certain situations, it's important to preserve the life of the mother. It's a very difficult situation. I think it certainly should not be allowed after 3 months unless it's some serious medical issue. If you don't know that you're pregnant after 3 months, then there's something wrong with you. You should be able to know that you are pregnant. And I've met a number of people who are rape children, meaning they were the product of a rape of their mother. So this woman got raped, and the mother decided to keep the child, and the child was born. And that child sharing with me, you can also find these on YouTube, you can find examples of this, of I'm so grateful that my mom did not abort me even though she was impregnated because she was raped. All I'm saying about this is that it's a very difficult situation, but I think it's gone way too far into the direction of murder. And honestly, if there is a heartbeat and it's moving closer and closer to viability, it's disgusting if someone takes a baby's life. And I think those mothers are very selfish when it's getting towards the 6 month, 7 month, 8 month. Like, that's flat out murder in my mind. You're killing a baby. And if you look at the interviews of women who've had abortions, they regret it. Eventually they regret it. Deep in their heart, they know they did something wrong. And I always urge one of my friends got pregnant recently, and she's not married, and she wasn't planning on this, and I don't know what she decided to do, but I said, look, at the very least, have the baby and give the baby up for adoption. Because I'm sure that baby's going to be glad to be born and is going to be grateful that you brought him or her into this world. I don't know what chalked means, but I appreciate that. Amen. How do you feel about women's rights? I think women's rights are really important. I don't think of women's rights, I think of people's rights. And that's why I say when I talk about abortion, I feel like once it gets to the point of there's a heartbeat and stuff, it's not about women's rights, it's about people's rights. A baby is a person too. And when there's a heartbeat, there was a recent study that I read about. And for those of you who don't know, I have a PhD in psychology. I'm a lawyer. I have an MBA in finance. I got a whole bunch of education. I'm not a medical doctor, but I am in pre-med classes at Miami-Dade College right now because I'm thinking maybe I'll go to med school in 2 years. We'll see. I'm in biology 1 right now. There was this story. I forget what the heck I was telling you about. I don't know if you guys remember where I was going right now, but I was talking about something. All right, can't remember what it was, but we'll go to the next comment. I was talking about women's rights. Oh, women's rights and viability, and I can't remember. By the way, thank you for clicking like for those of you who are watching. I'd love you to subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys, whether you agree with me or not. I like the fact that you guys are talking to me and watching, and I'm learning as much from you as I am hoping that you're learning from me. Keep these comments coming. First in America, not the live, since you're claiming Native Americans weren't first. So I think that the Native Americans were first to come here. But I don't think they're Americans because they didn't come here either. America is a nationality. So even those Native Americans, even the Cherokees, the Seminoles, the Pequawket Indians up in Maine, none of them were here, supposedly, from what we look at about the fossil trail and the land bridges, and if we believe all of that, this was just a place where, now Native Americans were the first ones here, but that doesn't mean they're native. Native means they were born here and they were bred here. So you could make an argument that the real Native Americans are any of you who were born in the United States because you were born here. If there were Native Americans who were born here after America became a nation, I would say those are the real Native Americans. And as I said, if you talk to most of these people in the Native American tribes, they don't want to be called Native Americans. They're fine with being called Indians, and they're not upset by it. And just like the Inuit people in Alaska, a lot of them are not upset to be called Eskimos. They find it charming. And it sounds crazy. Everyone is so politically correct now and so scared about offending people when most of the people are not that offended. The people that are getting offended are the people who shouldn't be getting offended in the first place. And the people who are not offended are the people who should be getting offended. So it's really backwards what's going on. I mean, gay pride, yeah. Hey, you can say gay pride, yeah, all good. I'm not going to hold it against you. I just think we shouldn't be celebrating our sexuality. I don't think it's something to celebrate. It's something you do privately in a bedroom, not out on the streets. That's my feeling. My kids first any day. You say that. I think if you're talking about the airplane analogy, I think, Lady McGregor, if you have 7 kids and you're in an airplane and the pressure drops, there's not gonna be oxygen enough for you to put the oxygen mask on all of your kids first. You are going to pass out before you put them on there. I'm a skydiver, I'm a licensed skydiver. Can't go above 14,000 feet without what? Oxygen. If I go above 14,000 feet without oxygen or 15,000 feet, first of all, it's illegal. It's a violation of FAA rules. But number 2, I will pass out completely. So what I'm saying is not just some random analogy, it is the absolute truth. And if I have kids one day and I'm on the plane, I'm 100% putting the oxygen mask on me first. Can you give me a shout out? What's up, Gorilla Tag Boy? I'm so happy to have you back. Great to see you again the other day. I just gave you a shout out. I hope you can give me a like. I got 3 likes. The most likes I've ever got on a live stream has been 7. If I can get to 8, that would be fantastic. Sorry, but don't believe in me first, my kids first always. I'm not a parent, so I understand what you're saying. I am not thinking emotionally, and I'm sure you as a mother would do that. But I am urging you, if you have more than 3 kids, put the mask on yourself first if there's a problem on the plane. Thanks, Simpson Abraham, for subscribing. I really appreciate it. We got 5 likes. If we can get to 8, it'll be a record. Just take away his laptop. Whose laptop are you talking about? I agree. Please don't bring Hitler into this. Oh my gosh, this is a long time ago. How many comments are here? So you're openly gay but don't want to sexualize it. I'm not sure if you're talking about me. I'm not gay, but I also don't broadcast to people that I'm not. I don't tell people, oh my gosh, I'm heterosexual and I'm so proud. I don't really care. If it is true that being gay is something you're born with, why are you celebrating it? I mean, I was born a heterosexual. That's who I am. I was born an American. When people say like, I'm proud to be an American, it's not because you're born American. It's because you're still choosing to be American. It's a choice. I could give up my American citizenship and find somebody in China to marry or in France to marry or find a job some other country and I could become French or Chinese or Russian. That's all I'm talking about. Ladybug McGregor, Brian Bush family. United States got its name in July 4th, 1776. So whoever was there first was the first American. You are 100% correct. The first American was here when we got our independence officially, formally, from Britain, from England. And by the way, if any of you have Apple TV Plus, I talked about this earlier today, please watch the TV show called Franklin. It's about the secret diplomatic spy mission that Ben Franklin went on to Paris in 1776 in June, because we were losing the war. And so he went to Paris in order to recruit the help of the French government. And ultimately, without the French Navy, we would have lost the American War for Independence. Thank you for the pride flag. Appreciate that. I think it's hard to compare the situation from Obama with the one of Trump, considering the Middle East, because there are a lot of things that must be considered. What was your answer based on? My just answer is the world was a safer place under Trump. The world had more conflict militarily. This is not me talking politically. I'm an Iraq War veteran, and I like to look at the the geopolitical conflicts that are going on in the world at any given time, there was more chaos and war in the world when Obama was president, and there was more chaos and war going on in the world under Biden. Under Donald Trump, I'm not talking about if you like him or don't like him, or you voted for him or you didn't. But if you were honest and you were able to be unbiased, you will understand that the world was safer under Trump. Who knows why? Maybe people say, oh, it was that way because all the world leaders were scared of Trump and he was crazy. Guess what? That's a good thing. North Korea was scared of Donald Trump. China was scared of Donald Trump. Europe was scared of Donald Trump. You want people to be a little bit on your edge. People aren't scared of Joe Biden. And people are not scared of Barack Obama. So the world leaders realized, here's an opportunity for me to go and do something because I'm not going to get in trouble. And mark my words, guys. If Donald Trump wins the election, I don't know if he will. If he wins, and you watch how the wars all around the world suddenly end. And things are just going to become a lot safer. So I'm not voting for Donald Trump because I love the man. I know because I was in a war in Iraq, and I don't want my soldier friends, my fellow Americans, to go to more wars. Donald Trump was very anti-war, and he made the world a safer place with less going on. Under Biden, we've got total chaos militarily. And it's not cool. And if you're telling me that I'm wrong, you're just lying to yourself. And the media is complicit in this because they're lying to people. They're lying to people and trying to pretend. I mean, Joe Biden is senile. My father had Alzheimer's. It's terrible. I have other family members who are struggling with dementia. It is not fun. And I don't wish that upon anyone. I don't wish it upon my worst enemy to have to help somebody like that because it is so horrible. And the person that has dementia and Alzheimer's is completely different. They don't remember. They have trouble. They're making stories up. They sometimes don't remember who you are. It's not fun. But I think it's terrible that the media and all of the people on the left are trying to tell us that Joe Biden is not having medical issues with his brain. As I mentioned, I have a PhD in psychology. I feel for him and his family. But why are they doing this to him? And why are they doing it to America and the world? I'm not a huge fan of Kamala Harris, but she should be president right now, not Joe Biden. Joe Biden should retire, and that's why we have vice president, so somebody there who is more capable mentally can take over the role. So that's the answer to that question. Ladybug McGregor, then there should be Native Americans too, right? I'm not sure what your question is. Yeah, if you can clarify that, I'm not sure what you mean. Ancient Navigator, Vikings, or Pacific Islanders? What's up, I troll? I'm glad you're back. She doesn't know her heritage. So how do you feel about the Asian dishes? Let me see. What was it? How do you feel about the Asian dishes with baby ducks in the eggs? That sounds absolutely horrible and disgusting, and I wouldn't eat it. When I was in China, I was offered to eat dog. Not everywhere. It was a weird restaurant way outside the inner city of Shanghai, the central Shanghai. But that was appalling because we think of dogs as being such friendly, quasi-human type friends, and to think that some of the Chinese eat them. When I was in Slovenia, I had a horse burger. And at first, I was fine eating it. But halfway through, I literally got sick because the thought of eating horse, because I like to ride horses. When I was in intelligence school with the military, at Fort Huachuca, I would go every weekend to the riding stables on Fort Huachuca and gallop through the Arizona desert. It was so great. I went galloping through the Mongolian plains when I was in Mongolia. I literally just got sick. I could not eat horse again. I will never eat horse again. I'll never eat dog because I feel there's too much of a human empathetic connection that I have and I think human has with them. I guess I shouldn't say never. If I were starving and the only thing to eat was dog or the only thing to eat was human, maybe I would. This is a really tough question. Imagine you have a cute little dog and it's the two of you together and you're running out of food. I don't know. I don't think I could kill my little doggy to eat it. I think that same thing. I would rather die because I kind of think of Little Dancer. Some of you have seen Dancer. I think she's part of the family. She's my little baby Dancer, and I'm not going to eat her. So I'm glad we solved that issue. I wasn't. How long do you have to be in a country to be native of a country? I don't think you can ever be a native if you were not born there. And so along those lines, I don't think someone who is born outside the United States can ever be considered a Native American. Now, if you're born, I'm thinking legally now. I'm a lawyer. I'm putting on the lawyer hat. Let's say your family is a military family or diplomatic family, and you live and you're stationed in Germany, and you were born in Germany. If you're born on the American military post, that might be different because that's an extension of the United States. So maybe you are still a Native American and you're born to two American parents. But aside from that, like anyone who comes to the United States and then naturalizes and becomes a citizen, they are not Native Americans. They will always have not only they're not ethnically, native here, but they're not nationalistically native here. But they are now native in the fact that they have been naturalized. They're native now to, well, no, because they're not native. They're native to whatever country they came from to begin with. Like, I am not a Native American in any way, shape, or form because I'm Lithuanian, Austrian, Russian, Polish, Norwegian. I'm an American by birth. I'm an American by passport. I'm an American by law. But ethnically, I'm not. And as I told you, there is no one who is ethnically an American. So if you don't look like me, and someone asks you, where are you from originally, don't get mad at them. Because if you ask me the same question, where are you from originally, I'm not going to say, I was born in New York. I'm an American, and my parents were born in New York too. Yeah, but guess what? My grandparents weren't. My grandparents on my dad's side were from Russia, Austria. My grandparents from my mother's side, Lithuania, Poland, Norway. I'm not a native. How long has this been going? I might lose you in the car. Coming from the pool. What's up, Violetta? Good to see you again. I'm going on 43 minutes. You know what YouTube should do is show the time when each one of you leaves a comment, because I have no idea when you guys are leaving these comments. By the way, if any of you like what I'm saying, whether you agree or not, if it's entertaining, please click like, please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 8 likes because I've only gotten 7 on live streams before. If I get to 8, it will be a record and would make me feel fantastic. My great parents were brought here, so even though I was born here doesn't mean I was supposed to be here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, who knows? It's very interesting, this discussion about ethnicity versus nationality and what makes somebody native. Because again, thinking, someone who was born, an Asian, a Chinese person, Chinese ethnicity, born in America, who goes back to China, so this person is an ABC, goes back to China, that person's not native to China. That person is now native to America, which is very interesting. I still don't consider that person a Native American because nobody is, because if you're an American-born Chinese, your ethnicity originally will find its way back to the Middle Kingdom. And the Middle Kingdom is the word for China. In Chinese, the word for China is 中国, which means middle country, or in English, it's translated as Middle Kingdom. And Gorilla Tag Boy says, I did. Simpson, ever think about doing a podcast? I mean, isn't this a podcast? I mean, how is this different from doing a podcast? I'm talking live and people are listening. Or are you talking about doing something like on Spotify? So I was trying to figure out if there's a way to do this YouTube live stream and have it automatically uploaded to Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you guys know if there's a way to do that? Lady McGregor, as I'm tired of them both. I'm tired of Biden and Trump too. My feeling is just, I'm a lawyer. I'm a big person of justice. Donald Trump has not been treated fairly. You can hate him as much as you want, but he has not been treated fairly legally, and Hunter Biden has been given kid gloves. Joe Biden is given kid gloves, and I think he deserves to be in the White House again simply because of the way has been treated. No one running for a president deserves to be treated the way that Donald Trump has been treated. He is an American, and I think it's disgraceful that people are treating a fellow American this way. I'm not a huge fan of Joe Biden, but I respect him as my president. I don't like when people go, Donald Trump is not my president. Biden is not my president. Yes, he is. Whether you voted or not, if you're an American, Joe Biden is your president. Joe Biden is my president. And I'm proud that we have a president. And I'm rooting for Joe Biden to succeed. I want him to make the right decisions, to make America safer, to make the world a better place to live in. But do I think Donald Trump may do a better job? I do. So I'm going to be probably voting for Donald Trump. But it's not because I'm some crazy MAGA and I'm insanely in love with Donald Trump, or that I hate Joe Biden. It's neither of those things. It's just I'm looking at, hey, who do I think is going to be doing a better job for the economy and for national security and my family? That's it. I agree with you on Kamala Harris. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I was about to say the F word, but I'm not going to do that because this is a kid-friendly podcast. What is wrong with this government and the Democrats that they are not putting Kamala Harris in charge? Why don't they switch the roles and say Kamala Harris is president and Joe Biden is now vice president? I don't think they can technically do that. I think Kamala Harris would become president and then the Speaker of the House would become vice president. I don't know. It's really bonkers what's going on. Your Brian Bush family, my grandfather was in the last U.S. Cavalry. I salute your grandfather. Ladybug McGregor, I do, and I'd eat my arm before I'd eat my fur baby. So, okay, I do agree with you on that. How about the dog and horses? I'm glad you asked me that question because I had to really think about it. For a moment, I was thinking, would I eat my dog? And I realized I wouldn't. Would I eat dog in general? Yes. Would I eat human flesh in general? Yes. In a life or death situation, potentially. But not if I'm related to that person, not if I'm related to that dog. I think that's pushing the line. And by the way, this is all hypothetical. A lot of times we think we know what we would do in a very stressful situation, but then that stressful situation comes up and we don't act as we think we would act. So I hope that neither you nor me, none of us, is put in that horrible situation of having to make a decision to eat a human or eat a dog. And especially eat a human that you know or eat a dog that's part of your family. New topic. This is disgusting. Horrible thinking about it. Degen Jakana, you're back again. I remember you. I hope you'll click like. Trying to get to 8 likes on this stream before I sign off. How many generations do you have to go back to say you're native? Because if you go back far, we are all African. A very good point. And now we're getting into religious topics here and the idea of creationism versus evolution. I generally don't believe we are descendants from apes. There's a missing link there that has never been filled. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I'm doing this biology class now, and I love how it talks about the theory of evolution as if it's fact. That upsets me so much. It's a theory. So if it's a theory of evolution, why don't they teach the theory of creationism? And they always say, because that's not based on science. Well, the theory of evolution is not based on science either. If you look through it, there is nothing that has actually shown that any species has ever evolved from one species to another. They talk about the Galapagos Islands and our friend Charles Darwin, and they talk about, oh, look how this mouse used to be have white fur, but now it has brown fur because it moved to a place where there are darker rocks. I'm like, so that's amazing. It changed its hair color. Guess what? Humans change their hair color too when they get older. Kids change their hair color because they want to dye them. That doesn't show that humans were some other species beforehand. That's another thing that upsets me. I'm not saying that it's not true. I'm saying it's not proven. That's why there's the law of gravity. In science, there are laws and there are theories. The laws are the things that are not contested by very many scientists. Gravity is not contested by virtually any scientist. It could be, but it's not likely to be. Evolution, that has not been proven at all. And yet it's taught in my biology textbook as if it's science. And it's not science, it's a theory. I have my PhD in psychology, and I had to create, I did a grounded theory study on the decision-making processes of successful entertainers. And I ended up creating a theory. But just because it's a theory doesn't mean it's true. It's one possible theory for how people succeed. And yet the theory of evolution is taught to us as if it's absolutely true. Let me look at more of these comments here. So, going back to your question about how far many generations we have to go back to, because otherwise we're all African. If we all evolved from Africans, then maybe we are all African. Maybe that's the case. Maybe we're all African. But at the same time, Africa was not a nationality however many tens and tens of thousands of years ago. So we're not ethnically African, native Africans, we're native from that continent. But remember, so that like nationality, no, we're not African. But I mean, many years ago, that's just an arbitrary name called Africa. North America is an arbitrary name. The Middle East is an arbitrary name. These are just arbitrary borders created by humans. I mean, we could have just as called Africa North Boobaland, and South America could be South Boobaland, and where the United States is could be called Blob. It's just arbitrary stuff. Again, I don't know. I don't think it's 100% proven where humans come from ethnically. Maybe we come from Africa. Or if you believe the creationist stuff, boom, we were created in the Garden of Eden. Some say the Garden of Eden was in Iraq, I believe. The answer is I don't know. But you're right. I mean, these are the questions I want you to think about. How far do you go back to be considered a native? Because I think Native Americans are really the people who were born here. Some of them are Cherokee Indian, some of them are Seminole Indian, but that's because they were born here. America did not exist, as somebody mentioned before 1776. Let's look. I can understand why you might like Biden, but not why someone would actively support Trump. I just like to understand Trump supporters to form my opinion. Too many people are judging their opinion of Trump based on the media. You cannot trust the media. I don't trust the media. I read everything in the media from all sides, and I don't trust any of it. I always look for corroborating evidence from elsewhere. Why do I support Trump? Because the world respected him. They might publicly have said they think he's a clown, but privately, They did not want to mess around with Trump. I am an American. I want somebody who's going to be president and put America as a priority and make sure that the protection of my Americans is number one. I don't know why America First is considered so terrible. America First means there are no homeless Americans. There is no veteran who is without medical care. There is no child without a great education. There is no one today at 3 o'clock, not today, maybe it was yesterday, at 3 o'clock in the Bronx on the subway, and this is in New York City. Some random psycho stabbed some guy in his arm 4 times and severed 7 tendons. And apparently he's going to be okay. But I want somebody who is going to make law enforcement super, super important. This defund the police crap that is primarily promoted by the left. New York City used to be such a safe place. Got rid of all the police in New York City. You walk in Times Square now, they are trying to sell you methamphetamine, crack, heroin, marijuana in this family-friendly Times Square. The prostitutes are back. The drug pushers are back. We are back to the way New York City was in the 1990s. People talk about how much they hate Rudy Giuliani, as if he's some crazy guy. That man is single-handedly responsible for New York City becoming the greatest city in the world in the mid-90s. And it became so safe and an economic powerhouse. And then Bloomberg came over. He was kind of in the middle between Republican and Democrat. And he did it okay with the police. But then this guy de Blasio became the mayor, Democrat, from a completely, I hate the police movement. I don't care about drugs. I want to support illegal immigrants. 2 NYPD cops were just shot 2 days ago by a Venezuelan illegal immigrant. And he admitted to being part of this Venezuelan crime game in New York City. How can you be an American and support these people? You should be ashamed of yourself if you're an American who is saying we want open borders, we want to continue to let these horrible illegal immigrants who are, half of them are truly criminals. I remember when I was an immigration attorney for a year. Let me tell you that. And I remember when Donald Trump was running for president, everyone criticized him because he said Mexico is sending us their rapists and murderers. The worst of them are coming over the border, and he was criticized as being racist. He was not racist, he was telling the truth. Mexico and these Latin American countries are sending the worst of the worst to America. Why would they want to keep them in their country when stupid America will take them? And guess what? Our kids, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers are getting murdered, slashed, and raped by terrible people from Latin America. You can hate me if you want. It is the truth. When I worked as an immigration attorney, this was here in Miami, and I quit that job 4 months ago because I was getting so sick to my stomach of helping these people who were criminals and have come over the border illegal many, many times. Very few and far between are these wonderful illegal immigrants who just want a better life, and they're wonderful. There's a lot of bad apples coming over, and they're doing terrible things. And I'm glad Biden supposedly shut down the border last week. Not really. It's just smoke and mirrors to make us pretend that he's actually doing something. The only thing that's going to shut down this border is Donald Trump. And people think that he's somehow racist for wanting to do that. It's never been done. 100 years ago, in 1924, look this up, the American border was completely shut because illegal immigration was causing such chaos in this country. I talked about earlier when I did my streaming this morning about Normandy. History repeats itself, people. Honestly, the people who support Biden do not understand history. And they are very uneducated people who watch the modern media and don't read history books. The people who understand Trump and are people who understand history. And Hillary Clinton made this crazy post today saying, I want to, however many years ago it was, in in the 40s, 1944, we did an invasion to stop a dictator from coming to power across the world. Well, this November, you have that same decision to make at the ballot box. How horrible. I don't like Joe Biden, but I'm not going to make up lies about comparing him to Hitler and that he's going to remove democracy. The truth is, the left and the Democrats have been more of a threat to democracy than Donald Trump ever was. I don't know if you remember this. In 2020, Hunter Biden, the New York Post came out with this news article about Hunter Biden's laptop. 50 intelligence officers in the United States came out with this joint statement, along with all of these Democrats, saying this is a Russian disinformation campaign. This laptop is not true. Joe Biden has no connection to China, no connection to Ukraine. And Facebook and Instagram and YouTube all blocked all of those stories. And I just found that really unfortunate because the American people should have been able to make that determination. And today, what has happened? Hunter Biden is in court, and it was proven beyond a reasonable doubt. It was admitted into evidence that this laptop exists, and it does belong to Joe Biden, to Hunter Biden. And it's like, a lot of Democrats and independents there was a poll, a vote done. If you had known that the Hunter Biden laptop was real back in 2020, would you have voted for Joe Biden? And a large number of them said no. And this study apparently showed that if this Hunter Biden laptop story had become public, it would have tilted the election in favor of Donald Trump. So 24 years ago, the left lied about Hunter Biden's laptop and tried to hide it from the public. Today, 4 years later, they are making up fake crimes against Donald Trump. I was a former criminal defense attorney in New York. I'm pretty familiar with the laws there. What Donald Trump was convicted of is absolute craziness. And it's frightening because if Donald Trump did not announce his re-election campaign, they would not have come after him. And I think it's annoying because Hillary Clinton destroyed evidence with her laptop and the bleach bit. And Donald Trump did the good thing, and he did not go after her. He did not set his Department of Justice after Hillary Clinton, even though she probably should have gone on trial for obstruction of justice and destruction of evidence. But she didn't. And yet Biden is in office now, and they're going after Trump for something pretty stupid. He paid some hush money to somebody, which is completely illegal. Non-disclosure agreements are completely illegal. I sign non-disclosure agreements every year when I'm talking to potential business partners. And I have clients who bring non-disclosure agreements to me as an attorney and say, should I sign this? And I go, of course you should. Why not? They're not going to tell you the business opportunity unless you sign the non-disclosure agreement. So that is my explanation of why I think Trump is better. Maybe he's flamboyant and crazy and bonkers and he's got strange personality, if that's what you think. Just look at the facts. The world was safer when Donald Trump was president. The border was more secure when Donald Trump was president. New York City was safer when Donald Trump was president. The world was safer when Donald Trump was president. I hope that he wins because you will see that I'm right. As soon as Donald Trump takes office, the world will change and everything will calm down. The world is not going to go into chaos. The world is not going to fall apart. Democracy is not going to die. No, I think democracy is going to be saved. So let me look at this more. Trump 2024 says, Arc Unknown, I hope my state flips red for the first time in 60 years. I think, Arc Unknown, did you say you're from Arizona? Tell me again where you live. And guys, please, if you could click like, I'm trying to get to 8 likes. And guys, the like doesn't mean that you believe what I'm saying. I'm just giving you a different perspective. And maybe something I say will help you to. Thank you for 6. We got 2 more to go and we'll be at a record. Again, I'm not telling you have to believe me. And I'm not telling you that you have to vote for Trump or vote for Biden. I'm not telling you that you are or not an American. I'm just sharing my perspective and hoping to give you something to think about. And everything that you guys give me in the comments is making me think too. And I'm grateful that you guys are giving me food for thought as well. And you think the Pope should call for another crusade, says Simpson. I don't think so. I don't think we should be having jihads. I don't think we should be having Muslim jihads. I don't think we should be having Christian crusades. I think we've moved beyond that. What about dolphins and whales and other aquatic life? They came from one predecessor. You mean about eating them? There's no way I'm eating a dolphin. Dolphins are very smart. But who knows? If I need to survive, I think all of us would eat a dolphin. But if the dolphin was your pet, that might be a different story. Land bridge is also a theory. Absolutely. This is what I don't like about science today. And I consider myself a scientist. I have my PhD in psychology. I am studying pre-med. There are way too many theories in this world that are being passed off as fact. And it's not cool. It's a bunch of political maneuvering. And these scientists should be ashamed of themselves. The same thing about climate change and global warming. It again is a theory. It may be true. I'm not one of those people that says it's not happening, and it may be happening. But it's not 100% proven that it's happening because of human and carbon dioxide in the air. And I agree that there is a lot of pollution being caused from carbon dioxide. During the Beijing Olympics, Beijing and Shanghai both are polluted cities. I used to live there, and the PM 2.5 levels are very high. But 3 weeks before the Beijing Olympics, they stopped all the factories and they prohibited people from driving around. What happened? The entire city had blue skies for the first time like in decades. And so it was actually very heartening when I saw this story, because I realized we as society can fix pollution. It is a fact. There is pollution in our skies and in our atmosphere. And certainly we wanted everybody in Los Angeles too. We want to have blue skies and have environments where people are growing up safely and breathing clean air. And we know that pollution is definitely from the combustion from factories and carbon dioxide and the carbon emissions in the air. But I still don't see the connection 100% between man-made carbon emissions and climate change. The funny thing about climate change is, you notice they don't say global warming as much anymore. Why do they do that? Because it used to be global warming for decades, but then it started to cool. And the temperature readings started to cool, and they thought, oh my gosh, this is ruining our theory. So they changed it to climate change. Now man-made emissions is making the climate go up and down. Oh, so now it's a different thing. But the point is, it's all theory. There is no law of climate change. There is no law of global warming. And I think this is whole funny too. If you think about it, we used to have an ice age. That's apparently, and we used to have meteors, and the ice age is what made the dinosaurs potentially get extinct. We've had climate change on this planet for millions of years, and there was no such thing as carbon emissions. The Industrial Revolution was started in the mid to early 1800s. So what explains all that climate change that happened before carbon emissions? It's just weird. So a film theory TM, Matt, Pat, LMAO. I don't know what that is. Technically, we all are, though. We all are what? I wish there were a better way for me to read these as I'm talking. Technically, we all are, though. Hey, I'm back. Great to see you, Gorilla Tag Boy. Guys, we got 6 likes. Let's try to get 8. Get to 7 and then 8, and I'll be very, very happy. Native Americans used to be from Turtle Island before it became America, so they are Turtle Islanders. This is what I'm talking about. Plausibly, yes. So I just don't understand. Going back to what I was talking about initially, there's no such thing as an American. Too many people are getting too pissed off about things that they should not be getting pissed off about. If someone asks you where you're from and they go ethnically, don't get upset. Just answer them. You're not from America. I'm sorry. And if you're Asian, you're not from America. If you're like me, you're not from America. You're from Lithuania or Russia. If you look like a Cherokee, guess what? You're not from America. Nobody is. We all came from somewhere else. So it was in Africa that the Garden of Eden, okay, because of the African wildlife as depicted in photos. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is. Maybe it's just an artist's rendering. Maybe because they have such beautiful animals in Africa that is the place. I completely could agree that Africa is where life began. I could also believe that it happened in the Middle East. I could believe that it happened in Asia. I mean, it could happen in a lot of different places. Lady Meg, why don't we all just thought for the woman who's running, who has all of our best interests, other than somebody who is friends with somebody who took over their own country for their beliefs? I don't understand the question completely. Why don't we all just thought for the women? If you could rephrase that, that would be awesome. Oh, why don't we all vote for the women who's running, who's all of our best, other than somebody who's friends with somebody? I think I understand your question. My feeling is vote for the best person. You shouldn't matter the race. You shouldn't care about the ethnicity. You shouldn't care about the sex, the gender, male or female. You shouldn't care about if they're Republican or Democrat. Vote for the person who you think is going to be the best person to run that office. And you said, why would I vote for Democrat or Republican? I frankly don't care. If Donald Trump were saying that he's running as a Democrat, that's not going to change my mind. If I believe that he is the best solution for America, then that's who you vote for. If you think that Biden is the best solution for America, then that's who you vote for. Who cares about, that's my take on that. People are focusing on race too much. People are focusing on ethnicity too much, on sex, gender. Like, get over it. Who is the better person for the job? I'm not a big fan of quotas and affirmative action. I'm a fan of diversity by picking the right people for the job. And if you just pick the right people for the job, you're going to probably end up with diversity, but people who actually can do the job really well as well. Later, but black people were immigrants who were brought over here. Are you saying it's okay to bring people over here, but when they want to come here freely, it's not? Of course not. Slavery was terrible. And slavery was endemic throughout the whole world. It wasn't just America. And in fact, where did we get a lot of the black African slaves in America? Because black African slave owners were selling them. People don't like to remember this inconvenient truth. The blacks were also complicit in the slave trade. We didn't just go over there and just capture blacks. The European, when I say we, I mean the Europeans, the Portuguese, the Spanish. They went over there and went to a slave market. Who ran the slave market? A black African. So no one likes to talk about it. It's always the white person. And it's like reparations. And the blacks in America want reparations. Why do they want reparations from only the whites? What about the blacks who sold them into slavery to the Europeans who sent them to America? There's so much about history that people don't know. And I feel like history has become so political. My mission is not to be political, guys, at all. I don't want my channel to become a political thing. I'm just trying to speak to you from a logical, historical, and